Success.
Deer hunting with the 30-30, that's what we're going to cover in this video. Gavin here from ultimatereloader.com. We're back with the hunting man, Guy Miner, with a success story to tell, and this time it's a doe story.
It is. You know, I finally drew that tag again,
Yes.
and I've got nothing against hunting a doe and putting good meat in the freezer.
Absolutely. And that was what, a couple days ago?
Yes. This is Friday. That was Wednesday. So.
Awesome. Yeah, here in Washington, it's actually not straightforward to hunt does. I know a lot of you guys could just go out and get a doe tag. Here in Washington, you have to get into the lottery. You got to win the lottery and draw that doe tag.
That's right. Our over-the-counter mule deer tag is for 3x3 or a 3-point minimum. It doesn't have to be 2 3s, but it's got to have 3 on one antler. And that you can go buy, no problem, no draw. But to get a doe tag, I drew this same tag in 2015. That was 7 years ago, and I've been applying for it ever since. So 7 years for me to draw this doe tag, and I was glad to see it.
So I need to get on it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be in my 70s by the time you draw a doe tag, maybe.
Yeah. Well, awesome. And, you know, I've only taken one deer, and it was a buck, and, you know, that worked out well. But that's the only buck I've ever seen here at Ultimate Reloader down low.
And now there are none because you shot him.
But we see does all the time. So if I do draw a doe tag, I'll probably be able to get something right here.
Off the porch.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we have a lot of deer here. And
Yes.
you and I are both motorcyclists. So I've seen deer a couple times on the bike. In fact, just this last year, one of them was up there near Waterville. The other one was just right down here locally. One was a buck and one was, no, actually they were both bucks, and they were just standing right in the middle of the road. So the more we get off the road, the safer it is for us motorcyclists, right?
Okay.
Population control, why else hunt a doe?
Yeah, you know, and the Fish and Wildlife allocates how many doe tags they're going to give out every year, and so you apply for those. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the population at a manageable level, at a decent level, so they don't overgraze, overbrowse. They don't, they don't overpopulate the area, and then they start drifting into the suburbs and eating people's shrubbery and getting in wrecks with cars and all that stuff. So yeah, they actually do that to reduce the population, or at least hold it down to a minimum in some areas, a manageable population. That's why they do it. I hunt them because they taste good.
That is a good reason.
And also, you know, sometimes an easier hunt is a good thing. This year, you know, I've been limping around with a problem with my Achilles tendon. And I did not feel like going 2,000 or 3,000 feet up some rocky ridge and looking for something with great big antlers. It was like, nope, I'm really glad I drew this tag this year. While I'm a little crippled up, and we're going to go hunt in the more flatlands.
Yeah, so let's talk about some background information. So the tag, you also drew it in 2015.
I did.
Now you have it again. You're on private land. Tell me about this. What does a DIY hunt mean?
Do-it-yourself hunt. So there's no guide involved. There's no outfitter involved. There's just have permission from the rancher to hunt on his ranch, and you go out and you do it all yourself. You drive out there yourself in your Jeep or truck or whatever. You find the deer yourself the way it's supposed to be, you know, binoculars and looking around and all that. Didn't have to do a lot of that. Basically, Kyle and I drove around the corner in the Jeep, and there were a lot of deer. So like, okay, there's some over there. And so, oh, hey, here's some that are pretty close.
Okay, before we get into the story, let's cover more of the background info.
So,
Okay, so rifle and optic. Tell me about it.
This rifle, we've had this thing kicking around most of the year here at Ultimate Reloader.
It is a staff favorite. We put a suppressor on here. We throw some subsonic 30-30 in it. We've got all those steel targets down at the industrial yard. It is just... it's fun that's hard to describe.
It is. It's a hoot, you know. And when we decided I was going to take it for the deer hunt, I made it, personalized it a little bit, and put a small light scope on it that I really like, and put my Montana sling on there, which I also like to hunt with. And yeah, I kind of made it mine for the hunt. Worked out really well. You and I both know it's a well-built rifle. It's accurate. It's dependable. And you know, around here, out in the out in the sagebrush country, long shots are kind of the norm. It's not unusual for me to shoot a deer out there at 200 or 300 yards or a little farther, and I usually do that with 25-06 or something.
Right.
So I was handicapping myself deliberately with 30-30 and a very low-powered scope.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It worked out just fine.
Yeah, so this rifle is both a lot of fun and a very practical tool.
It is.
We could defend the ranch with it. You can hunt deer with it. You know, there's not a lot that you can't do with it, and it's reliable. It's got that unique experience of cycling the lever. We already had the hammer extension on there.
Yes.
We've got a pick rail, and we've got a threaded muzzle. So I'd like for you to try hunting suppressed next time. And we did that sporter barrel threading job on your 30-06. So
Yep.
whether it be that or this, multiple good options.
Pop that Banish 30 on there maybe.
Ooh, yeah. In the 7-inch config. Keep it a little bit more maneuverable. I love that. So let's work our way into the load here. Tell me about the bullet.
Sure. This is a Hornady FTX, which has been out about 10 years or so. I'm not sure exactly when they introduced it, but it's been around about 10 years.
Flexible, tip, expanding.
Right.
Yep.
And it changed the game for 30-30 lever action hunters. We've got that tubular magazine, and until now, all of the bullets had to be round nose or flat nose to avoid having a pointy nose right up against the primer of the next bullet.
Which I think we need to test. We need to do a drop test on a tube with the
Okay.
high-speed camera just to see, like, fact versus fiction. How
Right.
bad of a problem really is that?
And I don't know how bad a problem it is.
Well,
So-
we'll find out.
But at any rate, so they introduced this bullet, and it's got a much better BC than most of the round nose and soft nose bullets out there for the 30-30. That's what helps give it a flatter trajectory. All the good things that come with a little higher BC. Now, .330 G1 may not sound very much, but the other bullet I've been shooting out of my 30-30 is a .186 G1. So it's like a pistol bullet.
Yeah.
It was a round nose 150 grain, and it's a great little bullet.
If you're at 50 yards in the brush,
What
whatever,
the heck? It
yeah,
doesn't
why not?
matter.
Yeah.
But open country, I might get that 150, 200 plus yard shot.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a really cool bullet to get into. You cranked it out at some amazing velocities in one of our earlier stories, 2,400 plus feet per second out of this rifle.
Lever evolution powder, totally optimized for 30-30 in this bullet class. Yeah.
Yeah. I moved it a little slower. I was in the high 22s. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it proved to be a good bullet. Now, be aware that Hornady makes two 160 grain FTX bullets. One is this one for the 30-30, and the other one is for the 308 Marlin, which you don't run into very often. That was kind of a short production term in the mid-2000s, I think about 2007.
Interesting.
So yeah, you got to avoid putting the wrong bullet in there.
Yeah. Yep. Some of this lever stuff is a little bit particular, like the 357 mag with the FTX.
Yes.
Right? And the trim length and all that. So if you're running a lever gun, just make sure that you've got a safe bullet tip that you're using, and you've got load data and components that are optimized. With the 30-30, kind of hard to go wrong with the lever evolution powder.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. So we had a Federal case, Federal large rifle primer, 2,267 feet per second, which was, as you noted here, a half grain under the max load that Hodgdon lists. I think I was running the max load.
I think you were above max.
Was I? Well, I worked my way up carefully, and you should never do that. Disclaimer over. Ballistics-wise, so, at 100, you're zeroed. If you zero at 100, 2.3 inches drop at 150.
So 150 is easy, not a
Yeah.
problem. Get out there to 200 yards, and at the range where I was practicing, I was holding on the top of the silhouette to hit it pretty much dead center.
Nice.
And that worked out good. That's 7 inches of drop, which isn't awful, but and there could well be a better range, but I decided to zero it at 100.
Are you using a laser rangefinder when you're hunting?
Well, I have one.
Okay.
I believe in it. I didn't use it this time.
You just
I
had a
looked at the
feeling?
doe and I said, she's in
Yeah.
range.
Nice.
Out there a little ways, but she's in
Yep.
range. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
so what I did is crosshairs on top of the back.
Nice.
I don't hold off hair, but I will hold on top of the
Right.
back.
Gotcha. No, that makes total sense. So, good ballistics for this use case. once you get out beyond 300, maybe things are getting a little wild.
Yeah, you know, and can it be done? Of course it can be done.
Sure.
But I look at this as a 200 yard and in. For me, it's a 200 yard and in gun.
Yep.
And by the way, you get to 200 yards, you're dropping down below 1,800 feet per second. But a lever gun bullet should be able to expand at that, and this one certainly did.
Nice. We'll get to that. So, let's start at the very beginning, morning of the hunt, and hear the whole experience.
I'm going to start with my driveway.
Okay.
Okay. So
First thing in the morning, literally.
yeah, our camera guy, Kyle, shows up, and he says, "I'm in your driveway." You know, I get a text message. I said, "Oh, cool. You know, I'm almost dressed."
And this is at what time?
This is
5
about
a.m. or something?
4:45 in the
Okay.
morning. He shows up, and I said, "Okay, that's cool." So it takes me a little while to continue getting ready. We roll out of there 5:15 or so, and we just threw everything in the Jeep. I actually stopped once on the way out because it was still early, and my brain was not catching up with life at that point. I stopped and I looked in the back of the Jeep again to make sure there was a rifle and all this.
Right.
It was kind of, I had that nagging feeling I'd forgotten something. I hadn't. It was all there. So we drive about an hour and a half, icy, snowy conditions, and we drive out there and we find the ranch. No big deal. Meet the rancher, and he takes us on his big roundabout to the other side of his ranch, miles, and follow his truck, and he gives us a quick safety brief and says, "Boys, have fun, and drop off a little note at the end of the day, telling me that so I know you're out of there."
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You had your Jeep.
Had the Jeep.
Yep.
Little Jeep. Probably should have brought the trailer or the rack or something. But I've thrown dead deer in the back of it before. It's a little bloody back there now. I'll finish cleaning it.
In the 1950s, you could sling across the hood of your sedan and
yeah, I
rope
always
it down,
wondered.
right?
I always wondered if that cooked the deer a little. I don't know. Maybe.
Awesome.
So it's chilly out.
Yep. And what time did you arrive, approximately?
Oh, we got there 7:30ish.
Okay.
No, 7ish for meeting the rancher, and we were hunting by about 7:30.
Nice.
Yeah. So that we're in the hunting area at any rate.
Which is near the time when the sun is coming up. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sunrise, legal shoot time, all that good stuff.
Nice.
And so we're going out there, and the rancher says, "Yeah, there's some deer." And we see two of them bouncing away through the sagebrush while he's telling me that. I said, "Yeah, okay." And off he goes, leaves us there, and tells us a little bit the lay of the land. So we're still in the Jeep, and we drive a little bit farther up a hill, come around the corner, and I pause, get out the binoculars so I can see. And that is so important to me, is to hunt with the binos. With those I can see so much more and find things. And please don't hunt through your scope looking for things. I don't believe that. When it's time to make the shot, sure, but in the meantime, hunt with your binoculars.
Yeah.
And so located
There's no one around and all
yeah,
that.
yeah. And that's a nice thing that I love about hunting on private property, is you usually are the only people out there. Whoever's got permission to hunt, small crowd, and I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, find some deer. Well, these deer
How many of them were there?
Oh, there were
approximately?
probably close to 20 in view.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And they over here and over there and over here. And these ones that are off to the left of us were pretty close. Problem is, as soon as I opened up the door to go to the back of the Jeep and get my rifle, they're like, "This doesn't look good."
Yeah.
So you see them start drifting off, and they're getting farther away, and I'm going, "Okay, get a couple shells in here," and grab my tripod for stability, and headed off over to the side of the dirt road there and set it up and started looking. And one of them, as mule deer often do, turns broadside and looking back at us, and I said, "That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's the one." And I didn't want to shoot because there's yearlings out there too, but this was a big mature doe.
Nice.
And put the crosshairs right on the back, press the trigger, boom, lung shot, and she staggered around just a little bit and then down, down and done.
What distance?
170 yards.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great distance to try this rifle out and still be relatively comfortable. But as you said before, with a 2-power scope, makes it a little bit challenging, huh?
It is, and I have to admit, when I was looking through that 2.5-power scope, that little loophole there, which I think is fantastic at 40, 50, 100, 150 yards, 170 and kind of low light that day. It was heavy overcast, and I'm looking at that very dark doe, and I'm going, I could have had my 25-06 with a 6 power.
Yeah.
Or the 7 mag's got a 3.5 to 10 on it.
Right.
And I could have
I'd
had
be out there with the 4 to 24 or something.
I know you would, yeah. But it was cool. It was a good, and it was good to use what a lot of people would consider a short-range brush setup at 170 because it had no problem. The shot was easy, and the effects of that bullet on her were dramatic and quick.
So I have a quick hunting story near that location. So I was at our mutual friend Jim Finlay's place, and we had camped in my trailer. And this was during the regular, mule deer season in October, right? Had a little bit of snow around and all that. The sun's just coming up, and we get out, and at his shooting bench, I'm set up, and I have this rifle, 24 power scope and all that.
Probably heavier than this one?
Yes, definitely. Sun's coming up. I see this beautiful buck, and I literally am on a shooting bench about 150 yards from it. I mean, super easy shot. And when I look through the scope, it's a 2x2.
Oh.
It could have been like this ridiculously awesome overkill support system, steady shot, and I had to let it go. That was, I think, 2 times that I've let bucks go because of them being under the point limit.
Yeah, that was frustrating when my son was young and the 3-point minimum that came in, and I'm trying to get him on a buck. And we're seeing lots of 2-bys. And once or twice, we weren't sure because of the angle and the distance and everything. And by the time we figure out it's a 3-by, well, it's basically out of his range when he was 10, 12 years old.
It's part of the fun of hunting is
it
you
is.
don't know what's going to happen. You win some and you lose some. And if you never lost some, it wouldn't make those wins all that, the fulfillment that you get from them, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I've done a lot of hunting where I didn't get anything.
Yeah. So since then, you've processed some meat.
Yep.
And how did that go?
Well, took the deer home. My wife doesn't like it when I do that. She likes me to bring them home in nice, neatly wrapped packages.
Of course, yeah.
But I brought the deer home and finished the skinning there and taking it apart. And I've still got a little bit more cutting and wrapping to do. So I'll take care of that probably this afternoon or tomorrow. And backstrap steaks, sizzling in a cast iron skillet, butter, garlic, some black pepper in there.
That sounds so good.
It is good. And I'm getting hungry thinking about it.
And it's actually good for you compared to other red meat, like burgers from cows, right? I mean, it's lean, it's natural, a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, I absolutely love eating deer, whether it's whitetail or mule deer or elk, any of those things make wonderful meals. And you're right, the meat, it's clean. And it's red, and you're looking at it. It's just wonderful. It smells good when you're in the garage there. You're cutting it up. It smells good when you're cooking it. It smells good when you're eating it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
It's really, really good stuff. And a lot of different things that you can make with it, which is awesome. So at the end of the day, what are your thoughts? This was your first time taking this rifle out.
Yeah, and it proved to be everything we'd hoped it would be and everything that it looked like it was here at the UR Ranch. Shooting it around here, it's been wonderful, and out there in the field, it was great. I didn't worry about the cold weather. I didn't worry about setting it down in the snow, although that bit me because I didn't put tape on the muzzle after I shot, and I actually got some snow in the muzzle. But, okay, fair enough. And I've cleaned it since then.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha. That Hornady bullet is a good one for flattening the trajectory and good for accuracy and really good at killing.
It enhances the 30-30 because it's modernizing the whole cartridge formula for this rifle. Yeah. And
you got the lever evolution powder for the good velocity, and you got that very nice bullet from Hornady. That I'm a believer. I like it. Okay.
So how about the Ear Pro, right? You didn't have the suppressor.
No.
Would it be helpful to just be able to take the shot and not have to worry about Ear Pro?
I didn't worry about Ear Pro.
Oh, you just took one shot.
I can't hear anything on my left ear anyway.
Don't do this at home. It'll wreck your hearing.
It will.
Shot by shot.
Yeah. I didn't worry about Ear Pro. And
we had snow. That helps a little bit, right?
It does. It's amazing how much that seems to muffle the blast. It's really and it's a 30-30 with an over 20-inch barrel.
Yep.
So it's not all that noisy anyhow.
Nice.
It was good. I want to get some of those little earplugs, those little Axle earplugs, and earbuds, whatever they call them,
Yeah.
and start using those on my hunts to protect what's left of my hearing.
And they can enhance your hearing.
Yes.
That's what I didn't realize until I started using Active Ear Pro is it amplifies the sounds, and it's almost like having a sixth sense, you know.
Oh, the first time that I wore those earmuffs that, shooting muffs that enhance the sound.
Yeah.
I'm out there in the field, and I tell you what, there's a squirrel running around out there. I thought I had a herd of deer coming at me because it's rustling through all the leaves and everything. I got to turn this down a little bit. It was funny. Yeah. It was an easy hunt.
Yeah.
There was nothing hard about it. Drive out there, find the deer, shoot the deer, clean the deer, take the deer home.
Yep.
There was nothing hard about it, and I thoroughly enjoyed and really looking forward to more of that good venison.
That's really, really awesome. Okay, that's the summary of Guy's hunt with a 30-30 with a doe this year. Question for you guys is, what are you hunting with a 30-30? What are you using your 30-30 for, and what bullet and load are you using? Drop a comment, and we'll start a discussion. I'm looking forward to us big game hunting together at some point. We're going to have to figure that out. Okay, that concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you're interested in becoming a professional gunsmith, check out the Sonoran Desert Institute. They've got a degree program, they've got a certificate program, and you can study from home. Learn more at sdi.edu. Thanks again for watching.